What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Mewzings Podcast. I'm your host, James, aka Thanos, aka 300, depending on where you encounter me. It's great to be here with you guys today. I just wanted to give a little introduction about myself, what this podcast is about, and what topics we're going to explore, the types of guests we're going to have on. My co-host John, who will be joining us in future episodes, and all the little nerdy details. To kick this off, little about myself, how I got into nerdy things. Man, being a nerd is a cool term nowadays. Back when I was growing up, it was not such a cool thing. I mean, look at all the movies, Revenge of the Nerds, and all these things. But in our culture, it's definitely changed. Man, nerds run the world. I'm a huge nerd, both literally and figuratively, for anybody that's met me in person. I got into comics at about 13 years old. I'd always been into art and things along those lines, but right around the age of 13 is when I started seriously collecting comic books. I fell in love with the art form. I've always been more into the artwork as opposed to the stories themselves. I remember as a kid riding down to the Circle K gas station up the road and grabbing comics off the shelves and checking them out, and eventually, starting to use some of my allowance money to buy them. And I was just in love with them from the beginning. And as somebody who was into art, it was an area that I started to explore. I wanted to be a comic book artist. Life ended up going down a whole different path that I'm sure we'll end up touching on one of these days. But prior to that, at the age of 16, I started working at a local comic book shop, and that comic book shop was actually co-owned by the infamous Mr. Todd McFarlane, known for his Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Man fame, as well as his creator-owned Project Spawn. So I got to work there from the age of 16 to 18, and man, I cannot tell you how cool that was. I got to meet several of the Image founders when they came in for signings, including Todd, and it was just overall such a wonderful experience as a young comic book nerd. So fast forwarding to modern times here, I did not end up working in the comic book field. However, I maintained a lot of my connections and continued collecting for many years after. I am coming up on 47 years old now, and I just recently started collecting again, and I'm intending to do some selling as well. So very exciting times. I maintain a lot of connections with comic pros that I've, cultivated friendships with over the years or had friendships with from before. And I'm looking forward to having many of them on as guests in upcoming episodes. We have Dan Fraga, also known as Fraga Boom, Ryan Benjamin, Justin Mason, Jer Hahn. Man, that's just a few. Many others that I can't disclose right now, but we have several pros confirmed that are going to come on here and chat with us, learn a bit more about them and their careers and what they have coming up project-wise. I'd also like this podcast to serve as a platform for us to just celebrate all things nerdy. Going to be talking about movies, which my co-host John specializes in. He worked in the film industry and has a lot of knowledge. He has an insane collection of movies and a great deal of, I would say a wealth of movie knowledge that he can bring to those episodes. I also want to talk about the unexplained, UAP, UFOs, whatever the new term is for it, ancient mysteries, movies, pop culture, just all sorts of things. Anything we find interesting, we'll chat about. Have a nice, natural, free-flowing conversation about all that stuff and take you guys along for the ride. So I'm going to be doing a few little prequel episodes prior to the official launch don't exactly have a launch date for the first episode, but just wanted to get on here, give you guys a little bit of information about myself. In the prequel episodes, along with those, I'm going to be doing some creator spotlights, just spotlighting some up-and-coming talent in the comic book world that I don't think are getting enough representation and enough exposure. So I want to give them some love and get you guys headed towards their direction. Anyways, I look forward to this journey with you guys. It's exciting. It's a passion of mine. We'll be talking to you here real soon. I also want to give my boy Robert Griffin, aka Your Dad's Comics, a huge shout out for creating the amazing intro and outro music that you guys have heard in this episode. Make sure you go check him out at Your Dad's Comics over on IG. Hit him up. He does amazing work. He sells a lot of awesome comics as well. So great resource for you guys. Alright everyone, take care, and until next time, keep it nerdy.